Andre Walker is currently behind bars. He is the man that is accused of torturing and beating a 10-year-old as well as his 8-year-old brother. He is currently trying to get a bond, and he just recently had a bond hearing. And in that bond hearing, more information was released as far as what abuse the 10-year-old and the 8-year-old suffered under his hand. And his wife also showed up to court to speak up for him, and I'm going to share that information with you.
With a detective testifying Tuesday to the internal injuries hospital staff said the boy had.
Internal bleeding in his stomach area, and with their raccoon eyes, they said it was possible with the head trauma.
Walker's charges were changed from accessory to child abuse on the 10-year-old to child abuse on the boy and his 8-year-old brother. Detectives testified the 8-year-old was interviewed by DCF and described various items Walker or their mother used to punish the boys: a flashlight, boxing gloves, and a rubber-wrapped copper wire. The night the 10-year-old was brought to the hospital, his brother said he was being punished by having weights dropped on him.
He was having the weights dropped on his stomach. He was duct taped to a ladder that was in the garage, and his hands were duct taped above his head.
Detectives testified duct tape, a ladder, and weights were found inside of the home. Walker's wife was the only person called to testify in his defense. She said he had never been in trouble with the law.
In the 16 years that you've known Mr. Walker, have you been in fear of him?
No.
Have you ever, do you share children with Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Have you ever been in fear of your children's safety?
Never.
Walker's defense attorney called the case and the photos of the boys' injuries tragic and said they signified long-term abuse.
There is no evidence that Mr. Walker took part in any of that abuse.
She accused the state of relying on hearsay evidence in the case they made Tuesday, but the judge said
there was photographic evidence to corroborate, substantial photographic evidence to corroborate the hearsay testimony.
And ruled,
the court finds that the state has met its burden, and I will grant the state's motion for pretrial detention.
So now both Walker and the boy's mother are being held in the Lake County Jail. And as far as how that little boy is doing tonight, detectives testified today that that little boy was unconscious when he was brought to the hospital last month, and to this day has not regained consciousness.
One of the things that stood out to me is that Andre's attorney is trying to say that he did not have anything to do with the torturing and the beating and the discipline of the children, that everything was because of the mother. Just say, for argument's sake, that is true. What type of man would stay with a woman that is doing that to her kids? What type of man would look at a woman abusing her kids and not say anything, not try to stop her, not call the authorities to try to help these kids, that would just sit there and allow their mother to do those things? Because that is not discipline. You don't tie a child to a ladder and drop weights on them as a form of discipline. That is torture. You have to be angry. You have to be, you just have to be uncaring. Don't even have a heart to just take a child, get duct tape, tie them to a ladder, and then drop weights on them because you're saying you're disciplining them. And if you're a man and you're sitting there and you know this woman is doing, why would you want to be with a woman like that? So that lets me know that he was part of the problem. Because according to the 8-year-old, he's saying they both did that to them. Not just his 10-year-old brother that's currently still in a coma, never came, to from his coma, but it's like I truly don't have words for these type of people that can do this to kids. These two boys had a father. If for whatever reason the mother did not want them anymore, did not want to be a mother, felt that her life would be easier without the kids, she could have sent them to their father instead of abusing them. Because whatever anger, whatever aggression, whatever was going through her head, whatever was going through his head, why take it out on a child, an innocent child? Because nowhere it's like I don't understand how they can just sit there and watch each other torture these two boys, torture the kids. Because whatever they did not deserve that abuse. And to, discipline them with flashlights, boxing gloves. It's like they was getting joy out of seeing these kids suffering. Because you really have to put thought to it. Oh, let me go get some duct tape. Oh, let me go get some boxing glove. Let me see how I can make it worse for them. And you sitting there dropping weights on a 10-year-old child. What did you think was going to happen? Did you not think that this will damage his internal organs? So his excuse as far as, oh, it wasn't me, it was the mother. I feel that you're accessory to the crime. So whatever she get, you should get. Whatever he gets, she should get, because they're both responsible for what. How can you sit there and allow this to happen if you didn't participate? And then, as women, stop getting with men that are married. I don't care how long he was separated. He cannot have a true future with you because he still have a wife. You will always be the outside woman. You will always be the other woman. Because even if he decide he wants to go back home, he can. And where does leave you? If his wife is willing to take him back, he can pack up all his clothes, leave you, and go back home to his wife and kids. So as women, stop getting with men that if they're not willing to make a commitment to you, if they're not willing to make a commitment to your kids, they don't need to be a part of your life. And as a woman, you should, because in other reports, they were saying that the abuse started when he entered her life. I don't know if that's true. I know once the actual court hearing take place, more information is going to come out. But you should never put a man before your kids. And you should never get involved with a man that has a wife, because you're selling yourself short. You're saying, this is all I deserve. All I deserve is to be with a man that already has a wife. I don't deserve to be fully loved by a man who's willing to make a lifelong commitment to me. All I deserve is to be a side chick. That's what you're saying when you're dating a married man and you know that he's married, you know that he's left his wife and his kids to go pursue other things. He's not committed to the family he already has, so what makes you think he's going to be committed to yours? So we have to do better when it comes to kids. We have to think better as women, and men need to just stand up and be men. Because regardless of what he say, if he participated in the abuse, he's a coward. If he didn't participate in the abuse but he watched it, he's still a coward. So either way, no matter what he say, he's still wrong. He's still in the wrong. And men need to learn how to step up and be men. Men do not abuse kids. Men do not stand by and watch kids get abused. So once these things are, instead of people have a hard time taking accountability for their action, for the things they did. And so, I'm looking forward to hearing the trial to see more information that comes out. But just what we heard so far, just what we know so far, these two boys suffer under the hands of their mother and her boyfriend, which is so sad. 1 Corinthians 7:2. But because of the temptation to sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman her own husband.